Good evening and welcome. It's part two of the ILFL Soccer Night show. Shaquille Mir is still here, Rashid Ali is still here. We're discussing all things ILFL. What we are going to do now is we're going to talk a little bit about the Vets League, which is something we have to do. Really, really important information. Like I said, you know the story. We've had our problems, technical issues with the pitch, which are out of our hands, out of our control. There's nothing we can do about it. We're at the mercy of the powers that be who control the renovation and repair of the pitches. Don't want to say too much too soon, but there could be light at the end of the tunnel. And let's hope that we have more news for you in the next couple of weeks. I don't want to start saying dates or setting deadlines because here on a live show, those things can, come back to burn you.
Just to add, obviously this Thursday is the award ceremony, so there'll be no games regardless of lights or no lights. So this shouldn't really affect. So hopefully everyone's at the award ceremony. End of the week, we should have some information regarding the light situation, and hopefully the week after, if possible, if all goes to plan, then we should be able to confirm with the teams. But email will be sent out all the Vets team with an update end of this week, and we can then take from there really. But this week's award ceremony, there will be no games either way.
That's true. But I mean, while we're bringing up about the Vets League, I don't want you Vets to be sitting there and twiddling your thumbs and your toes and thinking what to do. I know you guys got out yesterday and had a great day in the sun over at Mabley Green. It's all going to come back to you very, very soon. And Rash, I suppose we could just remind ourselves of what's been happening in the Vets League. I know the established teams are there. When the venue's up and running, it's a fantastic occasion, a fantastic spectacle on the evening. Yeah. But we can't take away some of the new teams who have come in and are doing really well.
The two new teams, I was really impressed, and I actually saw them live. Popular Workhouse, a very, very, very good team. I did a bit of research. I spoke to a few people, and they told me about the team. They actually train on a regular basis, not just with vets, with youngsters on a five-a-side, and hence why when they played a couple of weeks back in Stepney Green, I watched them. They were fast, they were clinical, they were passing 1-2, and then I find out their ambition. They said, look, Division 2 is just because they had to start from Division 2. Ideally, they look at Premiership. They've got a target. They've got an agenda to, make sure that everyone knows they mean business. So I can see them winning the Division 2, to be honest, because that's strong based on the two performances I saw. The other team is the ELS, the team, the Somalian players. They look quite deceiving. The way they played the two games I watched, no running around, just control, pass, control, keep possession, and bang. So they'll be a surprising team. Not the fastest, but in terms of skills-wise, those two teams, for me, I'm very, very impressed. So Workhouse Vets and ELS are two teams. The two new teams in Division 2 are the team to watch out for. But Workhouse, I can see they will be upset. They'll be upsetting a few teams in the cup when that comes, because people will think in Division 2, how much can they play? But they will be surprised, not just to Division 1. Some of the Premiership, if they were to face them, I think they'll get a shock. So they need to know that now.
I agree with you. I think the second division in the Vets League is looking particularly strong, and I'm looking forward to the cut rounds as well. But fortunately or unfortunately, that's still going to be 3 or 4 weeks down the line, even once we get started, because there's a set amount of games that obviously need to be played before we can work out the seedings for the Cup, and they take part. Shaquille, I'm going to bring you in now. I mean, yes, you are still here. Sorry, don't want everybody to feel that we're ignoring you. We spoke about the tournament that happened yesterday at Mabley Green. Obviously, we have the Vets League. You're not quite a vet yourself, but when you have something like that where it's so intense and it's such a big deal to play regionally for your district back home, is that something as a younger player you wish was there for you, or is it something you look forward to? Well, when I grow up to be a vet, this is where I want to be and doing?
No, it's something that you want to look up to. It's something that you love seeing. It's amazing how that I'm really young, and to see these lot, the older guys, how much passion they have, not just in football by playing, but actually off the field, how much banter they have between each other with all these. It's like boroughs, it's each other's boroughs. So it's quite nice to see, because we all talk about football here. It's related to football, and that's the beauty of it. It's not nothing else but just football, and it's just nice to see that football can bring not just the community, but we can try and bring the neighbours together as well, and not just youngsters, all the whole family as well. So it was a good event yesterday. Yeah.
So So going back to my question, is it something that you're looking forward to being a part of?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to be 35 plus and be a part of my, my region. But I'm in between Rush and Thing. That's us we spoke about.
So let's talk about that, because that seems to be that's fueling its own banter right here. So who would be your team, your representative team then?
Well, I'm more of my mum's side, because I'm always when I'm going back home, I'm always staying in my mum's side. So I'll be with Rash, unfortunately, here. But I would have liked to go against him, just for a bit of banter. I know I can.
Anyway,
I can't stop making him smile. He's
by the
always
time he
smiling
comes
to
to Vets,
me.
I think we'll be 60 plus. So I think that's a long.
But you know what the beauty thing is? He still have the umph about football. And that's the beauty of it. It doesn't matter how old you are, as long as you're talking about football and the villages against each other. I think that's the beauty of it.
Whilst we're on that subject, I think what I've realised is with the Vets League, when we started 4 years ago, obviously this is Vets League 7. We started 4 years ago with 8 teams. Now we've got 19 teams. I've already spoken to 4 other teams for Vets League's 8. 4 teams on the waiting. Now, this is saying something. That you've got 19 teams playing at present, you've got 4 teams waiting. So potentially we can, next Vets League, we could have 23 teams. If you look at the open age, teams are not increasing rapidly. They're basically static or declining. Because this summer I spoke to a lot of the winter teams, 1 or 2 teams saying, they don't have the number of players, or financially they can't meet. So 2 or 3 teams are folding. And we had a couple of teams fold last season. So the open age, you don't have the commitment or the financial strain. Whereas Vets League, it's growing. The reason I believe, because obviously I'm now 43. I've been playing Vets League for the last 8 years. And I've seen the players in my age group in the 40s or late 30s. When we used to play, we never missed a game, regardless if you're playing or a bench. Every Sunday for 25 years. We probably missed 3 Sundays in 25 years. That was commitment. And on the day, regardless who got selected or sub, we were passionate, we gave 100%. I don't see that with the open age.
So
that's my concern, because I think that's why, look at the Vets League, how competitive, even now, because of the Vets League we started with Shnariotin, there's other Vets tournament happening because of the demand and the popularity. Whereas in the open age, you have to phone the player 6, 7 times and, okay, I'll try and make it. Where Vets, you don't need to. Vets tournament, everyone turns up. You have X number of subs. In our Vets League, every team has 5 or 6 subs.
So Shakil, I'm going to come back to you on something there, because this is worth pursuing. It's something that we may have touched on before, and maybe do need to touch on in depth at another stage. Is reading behind or between the lines of what Rashi's saying is, are we saying that the old school players, those from back who had the commitment, the desire, the motivation to do something like this, still have it now, whereas the younger guys maybe don't have that same passion? You spoke about the passion that you see coming from the Vets. Is that something that's missing a little bit from younger players?
I totally agree with Rash. I mean, the old guys, you know what they say, old is gold, and it's true. The old guys do have that commitment, and I'm not saying the younger lot. I'm saying about the middle age group, like the late 20s,
between 20 and 30.
Yeah, between 20 and 30. The younger lots, I think we're missing out here, but I think we can talk about that later. But I think that is the difference. I think the younger, the middle age group, they need to sort themselves out.
Do you also feel as well, I mean, I'm just throwing this question out there and you can tell me, do you also feel that maybe within the Tower Hamlets region, do you think the different clubs now has fragmented the borough maybe so much? Maybe back in the day there were more, a fewer established clubs, so the pool was greater for each club to take from, whereas now there are more and more clubs across the borough.
Partly. I think that's partly.
So there is some, but the problem is here, we're still not giving them. There's a lot of people that behind the scenes, they don't really are participating. So there's a lot of discouraging there. But obviously there's a lot of competitions, yes, but are we picking up? We're missing out something here.
From what I've seen, yes, you're right, David. There's more teams now. When I used to play, there was a handful of teams when we played on a
Very
Sunday.
limited.
Probably 8 or 10. Now you've probably got 30 teams within the Tower Hamlets. But I don't think that's a problem. I think the younger lot, they may not like to hear this. I think they're lazy. They're not passionate. They don't have pride. They don't have the dedication. Because now they've got it on a plate. in our days, we didn't have another plates in terms of we had to pay money from our pocket, we had to go on vehicle, we had to travel distance. Not just in front of your house in Stepney Green, Weavers Field or Bartlett Park. We had to travel far away. When we played in the Asian League, we had to go far away. It was like an all-day trip to play a game. There was no guarantee you're going to play. You had to pay up money up front. It was quite difficult. And very few players were playing in the team, very competitive league, playing against other areas. Now you got training facilities, kits provided, you got first aid, you got you got tactics, qualified coaches, you got X number of teams. But are they taking it seriously? I don't think so. I don't see the same passion and the drive from the 20 plus to 30 at this day and age as I see it when we were there. We were there, as I said, in 25 years, only missed a few Sundays. That just shows where we were. That's why when the Vets League started, people from my era, the late 80s, 90s, that's what you on a Thursday, when we launched the Vets League 7, when we had all 4 pitches, the atmosphere was brilliant. And I more or less recognize everyone because I used to play back in the days in the 90s and late 90s, etc. It was brilliant because they come. The idea is play, give 100%, win, lose, draw. We enjoy. We give everything on the pitch. I just don't see that with the same passion from for the new generation or the 20 plus to 30.
I agree to that because I think I've sort of touched into it as well because when in my days we didn't have enough facilities. We used to play on concrete. The surface was so dangerous, and in little slip we'll cut ourselves. But now they got everything got 3G pitch. No matter what the weather is, you're able to go out there and play football. Back in those days, we used to be careful about, we didn't care about the rain and thunder. We used to be able to play on the surface, on the rough surface. It wasn't really safe to play. But now I think the hunger and desire is gone.
I think that what the new generation, the Open team needs to do is come and watch. Once the Vets League kick-starts again, they need to come and watch these games and see the players, the commitment, the drive, the passion on a Vets League. And hopefully that will, give them a bit of inspiration and say, if these lot can do it at that age, why can't we do it when we're younger, fitter, healthier, and more facility available to us?
I think this is why it's important as well, not only for the Winter League, but maybe for the Vets League as well. You may start to see changes. This is why it's important for teams outside of the borough to take part and participate, which is something that we have in the Winter League, which is something we have in the summer tournaments, the Unity Cups, etc. Those teams that come from outside of the borough, and let's call it a gentle kick up the backside for some of the teams to show them, well, there are teams out there that do have the passion, that do have the drive, that do have the hunger. Not to say that, the ILFL is suffering from weak teams. No, there are those teams there who are competing and are doing great and wonderful things. But maybe to a reminder to maybe some individuals and maybe to some clubs out there, there's work to be done, and there's always work to be done. We hear it spoken about on the TV by the pundits on a Saturday evening, wherever, talking about every team strengthens every season, and that strength has to be shown right through. It's not just about finding the best players for every season. The hard work's got to be put in, and it's got to be put in by all, for you individually, collectively as a club as well, to become successful. And we hope that the ILFL leagues give you the platform to do that as well. Interesting debate. I was going to add something else on the end of that, but then it would just take up a whole other section. But, I'm glad we had time to speak about that. Look, what we've got to do in the next segment of the show is we need to update you on what's happening in 3 days' time. It's our awards ceremony at a brand new venue for this year. It's the White House. We're going to be telling you more about that, what to expect, what's going to happen with the guys here in a little while in the third section of the show. So we'll join you right after this short break.